The first time Clara Whitmore saw Cole Dawson, he was breaking a wild black stallion beneath the wide, burning sky of Montana. Dust swirled around him like smoke from a battlefield. The horse reared high, muscles straining, hooves slicing through the golden air. Most men would have been thrown within seconds. Cole held on. Clara stood near the ranch fence, fingers gripping the wood, heart pounding in a rhythm that matched the stallion's furious kicks. She had come from back east, Boston silk dresses and polished manners, to marry a rancher she had never met, an arrangement to save her family's dying business. She had expected someone older, respectable, tame. She had not expected him. Cole was all sun-bronzed skin and quiet strength, his dark hair falling across his forehead as he leaned into the stallion's power instead of fighting it. There was something intimate about the way he rode, like he understood the creature beneath him, like he wasn't trying to dominate, but to earn trust. The stallion finally slowed, its rage softened into reluctant obedience. Cole exhaled, leaning forward to press his forehead briefly against the animal's neck. That was the moment Clara realized she was in trouble, because she wanted to know what it would feel like to be looked at the way he looked at that horse, fierce, patient, and full of promise. The ranch house sat against endless rolling plains where the wind carried the scent of sage and distant rain. Clara moved in that evening, her trunks stacked neatly in the hallway. She wore a pale blue dress far too delicate for Montana dirt. Cole watched her from the doorway. "You'll ruin those shoes," he said quietly. She lifted her chin. "Then I suppose I'll learn to walk barefoot." His mouth curved slightly, not quite a smile. "Montana doesn't soften for anyone." "Good," she replied. "Neither do I." Something flashed in his eyes then. Interest, perhaps, respect, or something deeper. Days turned into weeks. Clara learned to wake before sunrise. She learned the weight of a saddle, the sting of cold water from the well, the simple satisfaction of kneading bread with her own hands. But riding was another matter. The first time Cole placed her on horseback, her heart climbed into her throat. The animal shifted beneath her, warm and powerful. "Relax," he murmured, stepping close. His hands wrapped around her waist to steady her. They were warm, firm, certain. She felt the heat of him through layers of fabric. "I am relaxed," she lied. "No," he said softly. "You're thinking too much." He adjusted her posture, one hand sliding lower to guide her hips into alignment with the saddle. The contact was innocent, necessary, yet it burned. "Riding isn't about control," he continued, voice near her ear. "It's about rhythm. You move with the horse, not against it." She swallowed. "And if I fall, I'll catch you." The promise lingered between them long after she urged the horse forward. Clara fell 3 times that first month. Each time Cole caught her. The third fall left her breathless in more ways than one. She had slipped during a faster pace, losing balance. Before she could hit the ground, his arms wrapped around her mid-air, pulling her into his chest. For a moment, neither moved. Her gloved hands pressed against his shoulders. His heartbeat thundered beneath her palms. "You're reckless," he said quietly. "And you're stubborn," she shot back. His fingers tightened slightly at her waist. "You don't know what you're playing with, Clara." She met his gaze. "Maybe I do." The wind lifted her hair across his face. He didn't step away. Instead, his thumb brushed a loose strand from her cheek. The gesture was slow, almost reverent. The world seemed to shrink to the space between them. "I've spent my life taming wild things, but you don't want taming." "No," she whispered. "I want to ride." His eyes darkened. "And you think you can handle that?" She leaned closer, voice trembling yet bold. "I think I can handle you." The challenge hung heavy in the air. Cole released her abruptly, stepping back as though distance was the only thing keeping him from crossing a line. Be careful what you ask for. But his voice had lost its warning edge. Montana storms arrive without mercy. One evening, thunder cracked across the plains as Clara was still out near the far pasture. Rain poured in sheets, drenching her thin blouse, plastering fabric to skin. Cole found her struggling to calm a frightened mare. "You shouldn't be out here," he shouted over the storm. "I can manage," she shouted back, though lightning flashed too close for comfort. He dismounted and crossed to her in 3 long strides, gripping her arms. Not everything needs proving. Rain slid down his jaw, across his throat, over the strong line of his chest. She realized then that she wasn't cold, not really. "You think I'm fragile," she accused softly. "I think you're fire, and fire doesn't realize how easily it spreads." Thunder roared again. Instinctively, she stepped closer. "You're afraid of me," she said. His jaw tightened. "I'm afraid of what I'll do if I stop holding back." The confession stole her breath. Rain blurred the world around them. The horses faded into shadow. She reached up, fingers brushing the side of his face. "Then don't." That was all it took. Cole kissed her. Not gentle, not hesitant, but not rough either. It was the kind of kiss that spoke of weeks of restraint unraveling at once. His hands cradled her face, as though she were something precious and dangerous at the same time. She melted into him, gripping his shirt as the storm raged around them. When he finally pulled back, both were breathless. "This changes things," he murmured. "It already has," she answered. The ranch hands began to notice. They saw the way Clara rode now, confident, fluid, her hips moving in rhythm with the horse. They saw Cole watching her with an intensity he tried poorly to hide. One afternoon, Clara rode alongside him across open fields. "You've improved," he said. "I had a good teacher. Flattery won't get you anywhere." She smiled mischievously. "Who says I'm flattering?" He laughed, a rare, rich sound that sent warmth through her. They raced across the plains then, wind whipping their hair, laugh-track echoing into the horizon. She felt free in a way Boston had never allowed. At the crest of a hill, she pulled her horse to a stop. Cole followed. The view stretched endlessly, gold and amber and sky. She dismounted slowly and walked toward him. "Show me," she said. "Show you what?" "That rhythm you talk about, the one that makes riding feel like flying." His gaze sharpened. He dismounted and stepped behind her, placing her hands on the saddle horn. "Close your eyes," he instructed softly. She did. His hands settled on her hips again, guiding her into a slow, steady sway. "Feel the movement," he murmured. "Trust it." Her breath grew shallow. The world narrowed to touch and heat and the steady rhythm he created. "It's not about force,"